to dive in to the energies of the coming week to give you a forecast of what's going on, maybe in the world, maybe in our personal lives. So we use tarot and other divination tools, and it's also our community hour. So if you're new, we engage a lot with the community here. So I may be posting some of your comments, and there may be a conversation that's going on based on the energies. So we had a strong solar flare last night and a pretty hefty M-class flare this morning. So the sun's ramping up again. Big changes are happening. So I'm going to say a few quick hellos while the live people are getting their notifications. So if you're watching as a video, just hang out for a second. And who's here? Felicia, good morning. Hello, Laura of Let Spirit Guide and One Love and Adair and Blindly Inspired. Hi, Krista. Who else is here? Katie Bluebird, Chris the Volunteer. Welcome. Hey, Carla. Welcome. Hi, Brooke. Hi, Doreen of Children's School of Yoga. She's gonna be the star at 5 o'clock today when we do yoga time. So that's coming up at 5, and I'll announce that later on when more people come in. Hey, Colleen. Hello, Millie. Hello, Chloe. Hello, Linda. Great morning to you too. So if you're new and you want to say hi and where in this big wide world you're from, I am in the Catskills right now, and you guys that are here live on the Sunday morning of a holiday weekend, thanks for spending the time. And here in the USA, we honor this weekend the heroes that have fought and fallen to help us to enjoy our way of life here in the US, which of course is undergoing a lot of change and transformation. So we may get into more of that as well. And Gemini yoga class today. So let me post this for you guys. 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We will be live doing that. Hello from Spokane, or is it Spokane? Spokane. I never got that right. But the area of Eastern Washington's always intrigued me. I'll put it that way. School of Yoga, the Children's School of Yoga. That's Doreen's business, and she has studios in several places. So it's quite an amazing organization, I must say. So hello, Spirit, Mind, Family. Yeah, that's our Patreon group. So we do stuff for an inner core community, and we do a lot of channeling work. So what's going on this week? Well, Gemini season. Gemini season is firmly putting its Gemini stamp, boom, on us today. I think it's today because Mercury, the ruling planet of Gemini, is transitioning out of Taurus, where it's a little bit bogged down because it's a little bit earthy, and into its natural rulership, airy Gemini. So all of us airheads out there, myself included, do a little bit of extra grounding this week. And one of the things about Gemini is that information travels very quickly. So we're going to see a lot more coming out in the news. Like, for example, we just learned of, although those of us, myself, and I've even included this in several psychic forecasts in the past. So a lot of us knew already that there was going to be a new COVID strain, and it has been identified in China. So that means probably in the autumn, we're going to get another wave here. So build that immunity, get grounded. Groundedness actually does help our immune system because it makes our vibration more solid. And the more solid our vibration, the less foreign energies, including foreign objects like viruses, can enter within our system. I mean, that's just one thing, you use common sense also, but that's just one thing. So, and the moon, and your moon's in Gemini. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, being the brilliant psychic and channel that you are. That totally makes sense. My moon is in Aquarius at 25 degrees. So I was born under a void, of course, moon, because it was void, of course, when I was born. Of course. that might explain a few things. That and being born on Yom Kippur, the day of atonement, might explain a few more things. But anyway, I'm here doing the work with you, sharing with you what Spirit shares with me, and completing the circle of love and the circle of knowledge and wisdom with you. For it doesn't come from me, it comes through me, right? And the same can be said of all of you as well. So trust that intuition, trust your heart, and trust who you are, because you have an important mission in this changing, beautiful world and reality that we live in, that is a little bit wounded right now. So we may get into a little bit more details with that. Um, oh, of course, let's Spirit Guide. So those of you that have YouTube channels, and there's a few of you. I don't think Josh is in right now, but he's going to be of Mr. Floyd's Universe channel, is going to be my guest on Wednesday evening, and he has a channel. And so your birthday is Tuesday. Happy birthday! So you're Gemini sun, right? So where's the moon? I think the moon's still going to be in Gemini on Tuesday. Yeah. I think it's going to be Gemini. Anyway, so anyways, hey Jojo, hello from Myrtle Beach. And what are we saying here? From Myrtle Beach, whose head was expanding and exploding from high vibration? I don't know if my head was exploding and expanding, but it was sure doing something other than sleeping. I'll put it that way. I think I got 4 hours last night, so I'm a little bit more chipper today. And also, I've been the last 5 days doing a lot of psychic work, a lot of mediumship work. So a little bit more chipper today. But anyway, yeah, happy birthday, One Love. Is that a good thing? Yeah, it's all good. Your Gemini is a lot about duality, the yin and the yang. It's a lot about it's Mercury. It's very fast energy. It's very intellectual, very much around the nervous system. So it's a lot of activation. So you're having your solar return on Tuesday. That's what, the 26th. What day are we now? Oh my gosh. I am losing track of time. Okay. I think that's part of the solar flares, is we're getting a lot of these like interruptions in the time-space continuum. 11:11. That means it's time for tarot. So let me start with a little bit of tarot stuff, and we'll let the conversation evolve from there. So what I like to do is start out with a meditation card to tap into the energies of this week, and an intention that we can work on in our meditation practice. And when we meditate with cards, what I recommend, like any other meditation, you get very present, open, and aware. One with your breath, feel your body, the space around your body, and open to Great Spirit, God, or Source. That which created us takes care of us always. So we have to remember that when there's a lot of worries or there's a lot of pressures, that threaten our sense of what's the right word? Just our sense of happiness and joy, and our sense of fulfillment and survival, right? All these things are coming under fire, right? In this ramped up programming that we're in this world. But anyway, so you get very relaxed, very present, and then in your mind you just kind of step into the card, whatever it is. We'll find out in a second. And the first thing when you step into the card is just gauge what you feel energetically, and that then you start to blend with the energy of the card, and then you may get messages. So on that note, let me mix the card up a little bit. We have a Josh sighting. Yay, Mr. Floydson. At breakfast with friends. See you Wednesday. Wednesday we're gonna have a nice chat with and talk about Mr. Floyd's universe and what's going on in his universe, my universe, as well as your universe. Hello, Lucretia, I think I pronounced that right. Welcome. There he is. Squishes, yeah. All right. So what I was saying before, for those that have YouTube channels, this is a community. Drop your links right here in the chat, and maybe some of the people on Tarot Time Today will watch your videos and subscribe to your channel. So anyway, I think we mixed our cards up enough. So I use a Hanson Roberts deck currently. If you have your own tarot card, whatever I pull, you can pull from your own deck or take a mental snapshot of this one. So let me clear my mind a second. So one thing, because it's just thinking about it as I'm clearing my mind, I've been noticing a lot of like what's the right word? Discharges in my body, from my eyes to my ears to my nose to my throat. And I think these higher energies are just helping to dislodge some of the toxins that we carry within our beings, whether they're energetic toxins or physical toxins like microplastics, heavy metals, byproducts from smoke and aerosol chemical ejections. Is that the right word? Chemtrails, by any other name. It's all chemicals that are released into the atmosphere and released into the food and the water. And we drink a lot of bottled water that has plastic. So these higher frequencies want to cleanse our physical bodies because they're cleansing our energetic fields. They're increasing the flows in and around us. And when there's more energy flowing through us, it activates. And through that active energy, it helps to clear whatever's stuck and whatever's stagnant. One of the reasons we get ascension symptoms is because we hold on, that we don't allow the natural frequencies to work through us. And there's a variety of reasons. It all comes down to programming, your fear of death, fear of the unknown, all kinds of reasons that we may hold on energetically. So when you meditate and you do it every day and practice presence, you start to develop more fluidity in your energetic field. Then you ascend more gracefully. You don't have so many symptoms, and let these natural frequencies, we're right in the dark moon now, so this is a good time. Just let the natural frequencies cleanse you, cleanse your aura, and then it's going to start to cleanse your body. And like me, you may be sneezing and coughing a lot and have stuffed up ears. I might have a cold for all I know, but in any event, I still think it's energetic. So on that note, clearing my mind, right to my card. Oh, I like the Knight of Cups. I was going to say the King of Cups. I like the Knight of Cups. Knights are fire and cups are water. What happens when you bring fire and water together? Lava? Oh no, that's fire and earth actually. Fire, water, alcohol. No, I'm just teasing. But in any event, so when you meditate with the card, when you step in and you what do you feel? Sometimes I like to find my hands or my feet, in this other reality, because you're stepping into a portal. There's lots of portals out there that we can step into. Right now, it's a tarot portal. The Knight of Cups, basically. And I think this knight wants to take you on some kind of a ride or a journey. Cups represent happiness. They represent fulfillment, emotion. It's the element of water, basically. And all programming is yeah, I think that's accurate. All programming is emotionally based, right? Like all the subconscious programming of society. Um, what it does is it hijacks our emotion. We see something on social media, we have an emotional reaction, whether it's anger, fear, whatever it is, and we think that that's our emotion. But no, that's been programmed into us very cleverly through the media, through what we see every day, what we hear every day, and what we're told every day. And we think that our reactions or responses are our responses. No, they're programmed. So once you get very present, you start to see that for what it is, and you can transcend that programming. So maybe that's part of the message of the Knight of Cups. So you get on board, take a little ride here on, ride the white horse. No, not literally. I know that's a a slang for using cocaine. No, we don't advocate drugs here. Medicines, yes. Drugs, no. I guess they're the same kind of. Well, you know what I'm saying. We want to be clear of mind. We want to be grounded. But in any event, and the cup could be an offer. It's like this knight is carrying a cup. It wants to give you something, a message, an upgrade, whatever it is. So when you step into the card, there may be things you don't see. This is a little doorway, right, into a whole new reality. So you explore that reality with your psychic senses. What do you smell, feel, taste, touch, hear, know? Who do you meet? What messages come in? And and it may be relevant for good things coming into your life. So in any event, somebody from Argentina, I'm just peeking at your comments. All right, so that's our meditation card. I'll do a 3-card spread in a second, but let's pop back into the community here. We're really so in the UK. So thanks for being here. The government is now spending millions to thwart global warming. They're experimenting and spraying the clouds with salt water. They're doing similar stuff here. There's also a lot going on with new rules of social media around the UK, which is just glorified censorship for our own protection, of course. Good point. Very good, Grace. Good point about the forest fires and flood water. Very good. And you've been feeling white. Oh wow! So that white horses. That's that's very spiritual, right? What else are we saying? Hello, Argentina. That's why they're saying Argentina. You're waiting on some big news. Good for you. Well, the first card would suggest that it's coming, right? Observation, great penny, Knight of Cups. We left the Earth stuff up too. It happens to be solar flares or energy changes. Well, yeah, continue to integrate it exactly right. Forest fires and flood waters. So that's that fire mode. I get it. I'm a little slow on a Sunday morning, but I get it. Hot, boil, steamy hot. Wow, I'm missing a lot of you. That's for headaches. Right. So let's do a 3-card spread. So let's see what else is going on in the world that's noteworthy. Has anything happened in the world last week? Oh my goodness. I shared a post on YouTube and Facebook and social media, about various issues of control, we'll say. And boy, what a firestorm that started. But the idea is, we're growing and ascending, and there's so much resistance, so much programming. So a little bit of news that we all knew for years about our former president Joe Biden surfacing. I mean, I can't say I knew that he had cancer. I just knew he had something, and we'll call it apparent cognitive decline, because one of the somebody who's an excellent medium from Lilydale, who's also a clinical psychologist of 50 years, pointed out, using the term dementia to describe Joe Biden or anybody is a fallacy, because I'm not licensed to make such a diagnosis. It's a medical diagnosis. So I changed the post from dementia to apparent cognitive decline, because that could be from dementia, it could be from Alzheimer's, it could be from aging, it could be from one of another things, right? So that was a good teaching point for me there. And as a medium, we're not even allowed to diagnose. That's one of the faux pas of mediumship. And so if I give a message, especially in a group setting in platform mediumship, what I'm supposed to say is I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose or prescribe, but spirit is giving me this information and kind of putting it out that way. But again, that's all coming out. So it's coming out that basically, like Ronald Reagan, we've had a president that was more of a figurehead, while other people that we didn't vote for were running the country. And it's a huge cover up, and I hope it's treated in that light. I don't think with Ronald Reagan it really was, to be honest, but he had Alzheimer's. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and then the other thing, and it's all technology. There's always a narrative that they're driving. That's part of the programming, right? So there's always that you're trying to direct the thinking and the consciousness of the masses to fulfill whatever their agendas are. So we just learned that Joe Biden, I believe they said it was stage 5 prostate cancer, that they just announced that. And it's all a game of emperor's clothes. And if we can just get rid of the programming, just see what's going on. And why do I say that? Well, stage 5 cancer doesn't just show up. It's like, oh wow, he has stage 5 cancer. An ex-president, my guess is, has the top medical care available, and 81, 82-year-old man, 80, 81 man, it's probably getting checkups every 6 months, right? So the best doctors in the country, amongst the best doctors, somehow missed that in his last checkup and his prior checkup and the checkup before. Or was there a condition that was covered up? Interesting questions, right? I don't know the answers. I just put the questions out because I know that within every question contains its own answer. So the trick is to understand the nature of the question, and then you understand what the answer is also. So let's do a 3-card spread. Oh, let me see what you guys have to say about all that. Stage 4, okay. All right. Fair enough. Thank you, Christine, for sharing that. Personally, I don't buy it, and in the news they described it as stage 5. But whatever. Now we have Trump, who has obvious cognitive decline. His word salad at West Point was embarrassing. So yeah, I mean it goes both ways, right? So we're not playing favorites here. Good point there. Yeah. You can look at Trump and see that he's not healthy. Although, if he has cognitive decline or dementia, it's a different style. Like Joe Biden to me was very frail. He's speaking very softly. He's had to think a lot about his words and stuff like that. And Trump just fires it out. It's a whole different type of issue, and he can sit in like with Joe Rogan for 3 hours without like a teleprompter or being fed information and maintain a conversation. So it's a different, but at the same time, if others are running the country because our president is not fit for office that we did not vote for, we have a right to know about that. At least I think so. What do you guys think about that? Uh, Name doctor. So what is Jojo saying? I'm a behavior therapist. Good to cover yourself by being general, but you can state obvious observations. For example, watch Trump's right leg swing around when he walks. Thank you. Wow. Good observation there. Thank you. And Christine said, oh, yeah, no, we're not talking about stuttering. Yeah, just to be clear, we're not talking about stuttering. We're aware of that. Or as a young person, as he aged and faced enormous. That I get that. His son died, right? He's had a lot. We want to be compassionate, whether we agree or disagree, right? He's had a lot of stuff going on. That's why it was a valid point from the psychologist, that to say that he has dementia is not proper. I don't think so, because it's a medical diagnosis. I don't know if he has that. I do know that he had a lot of cognitive decline, and they're releasing the her tapes, right, where he didn't have the benefit of getting fed information, and he was struggling to remember what year his son died. Yeah, I saw the clips. I don't think they were AI or that they were altered. You never know in today's world, so you have to take that into account. And talking about being in the Senate and then being the president and skipping the 8 years of being vice president and stuff like that. But anyway, enough of that. Points been made. Your counterpoints have been made. Thank you for sharing, everybody. Hello, Blindly Inspired. That exactly. To cut to the chase. Exactly. And then Kara. Yeah, he's a Gemini, right? His birthday's coming up with a Leo ascendant, and I forgot what his moon is in. Was it Sagittarius or interesting? I forgot what it is, but he and talking about mental decline, right? Well, I'm not the president. I'm just teasing. Kamala Harris had the same moon sign, which I found interesting that they were both running. Trump did his best to belittle, and most people don't remember everything. No, I agree with that. But still, I remember what year both my brothers died. I remember the year both my parents died. I remember the year that my first girlfriend died. That was 1980. So that's a life altering event to say 2019, no 2018. Anyway, enough. Cancel, clear, delete. Just lots of love and compassion. And for me, and hopefully for you too, like John Lennon said, all I want is the truth. Just give me some truth. And I don't appreciate the cover-ups, because what does that do when the government doesn't disclose things? It breeds conspiracy theories because people don't know what's going on. We know that we've been lied to. We don't know how. That's how, for those of you that are really sick of all the crazy conspiracy theories, well, tell your government to disclose things, and then there's no need for that because we'll know, right? Anyhow, let's do a 3-card spread. So this will be the covering the energies of the coming week. All right. One. Okay, I have to clear my mind a little bit better. You want me to come here? This one, okay. And this one. There we go. Let's see. So we've got the King of Wands or Rods reversed. We've got the Page of Pentacles and the Queen of Rods or Wands reversed as well. And it almost gives me the feeling like, generally speaking, like this could be like news, pages are often news. It could be money offerings. And this is like almost like the king and the queen of the same suit are a couple, right? They're like a unit, but they're being separated by something, whether it's the news or whatever. And these wands, it's fire. Reverse, it could be very angry. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot in the news this week that's going to really anger people. Like we haven't been seeing that every turn the pings off. Like we haven't been seeing this like every week, but it may be pretty intense. I think this is also showing me like another like solar flare that's going to have a coronal mass ejection. So we may get some interruptions with communication this week or the following week, like satellite, cell phones or stuff like that, or power outages or things like that. I'm wondering, with the Leo ascendant of our 47th president, if this card's representing him, and one who's been known to go off on tirades and to express a lot of anger and not have the filters that we, up until recent times, we got used to from those that are representing our country, right? So that may be more of what you guys were saying about Donald Trump's issues and his health or whatever, or his policies may come under fire. Yeah, we had the bill didn't pass, right? It just passed the Congress, right? The big, bountiful, beautiful, whatever they freaking want to call a bill, basically. Um, so I think it still has to pass the Senate, if I'm not mistaken. But it did pass the Congress this week. It's on the table. It's on the floor. Um, and I think one of the messages that it's important. Again, we have all this Gemini energy, so it's kind of important to do a lot of grounding and not to let the news or people agreeing, disagreeing, or whatever get you into a negative emotional state. So I think it's really important now more than ever to stay in your own lane, right? It's kind of like this figure sort of being surrounded by this intense fiery energy, and he she has a message, something to share. That could be you. So share what you need to share, stay calm about it, and not to let what's going on in the world or the disapproval of others or whatever to stop you or to edit you. Basically, you have valuable information. Now, this could also be some kind of a financial bill passing, whether that's good or not, I don't know. I think there's some potentially good news financially. So we may see a little bit of good news around the economy, but this is very volatile energy. So I think one of the key elements of this week is a lot of energetic volatility. So it's more important to do your grounding, to step away from the stress of the world as much as possible from time to time. If we interact with the world, we have a job, we can't help it, but we do have the choice of how we respond to it. And if we step back with it, or step out of it, and I think this is just a lot of pretty heavy duty, new styles of programming, new things coming up in the news. Think something comes up in South America or even Antarctica. Interesting. It was in the I think it's the psychic forecast I did in the beginning of May. I was doing the psychic forecast, and they just popped South Africa in my mind. I was like, why are they popping South Africa in my mind? And it's not because Elon Musk is from there, but there's been a lot of news around South Africa lately. And this could also be very much aggression. I have a feeling I mean, this could be the current administration. I know, at least on the surface of things, it appears that that the Trump administration is working on peace settlements in Russia, Ukraine, for example. But there's been a lot of bombing. There's been a lot of especially Gaza. That whole conflict. So this could be some offerings of peace. Also, I do think maybe not as soon as June. I was predicting July, but I think some kind of a ceasefire. As I'm saying that, they're saying like a temporary halt and a ceasefire comes up. So that may come up this week or the following week. Just like a halt. It's not like a truce has been reached, that the war has ended while there's more negotiations going on. But when those things come up, often somebody breaks it. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But I do think that there's some voices of reason that are trying to sift through all of the charged energy that in the world today. And I think we can be conduit to that by calming down ourselves and grounding ourselves and opening our hearts and vibrating in compassion and love as much as possible. So anyway, I want to see what you guys are saying before I move on. No, but I need to see that. Yeah. Yes, thank you, Play. We need to see reality clearly, feel our feel exactly. Don't stuff your feelings, acknowledge them, but do what we can to help and get back. Great comment. Thank you. Um, and I okay, yeah. So let's share your link. I have a new reading up on my channel about the symbolism of white Arabian stallions. Well, that's perfect, and Felicia is very knowledgeable about horses and everything. Together sometime. Very good. Very good. So let's go. I have my Native American deck, so I've got some other things to work with here to get more messages for us. I'll mix these up a little bit. So in my mind, I'm seeing the Ten of Wands. So I get like spirit messages, and then they're showing me the Knight of Wands. So they're showing me those two cards together. So the Ten of Wands is the one where the figure has all the wands on his back, and it's a card of success, but it's also a card of heavy duty responsibility, basically. So how does that relate? I'm not sure yet. Especially they pop the Knight of Wands in my mind. Which is maybe a change in those responsibilities. I think some of us are going to either experience like job changes in the next week or two, or changes of responsibility around your job or your life. I think for some of us, it may be responsibilities over somebody's health. So you may see some changes in the loved one's health. Hopefully, they're good changes. And I think the other thing is just to be aware everything's changing very quickly, including the energies, probably more solar flares, more energetic activity. So again, stay in your heart. That's the eye of the storm. Hearts cannot be programmed. Only the subconscious mind can, and hearts are stronger than minds. So the idea is if you're in your heart and you're vibrating in compassion, gratitude, you're actually making a heart-brain connection. It's called heart-brain coherence. And by doing so, you're strengthening the mind by blending the heart and the mind. Long story short is you become more resistant to all that programming, the more in the heart you are. And so do that every day. I did much of my counter conditioning in the late 70s and the 80s. And I've shifted my vibration, so I can, not to boast, and I can't say that I'm 100% immune to programming. A lot of it's through frequency, through waves, but from that point on, and that's like 40 some odd years ago, I could see right through it. I could feel when somebody, whether it's an anchor person on the news or somebody or a talk by the president or an ad on the Super Bowl, whatever it is, I feel in my body if somebody's trying to program me and it rejects it. So I feel it right off. And the more in your heart you are, the more you'll feel it also, and be safe and protected, because the heart links directly with source, spirit, or God. Anyhow, I think we get that point. I've explained it from 3 different angles now. I think we got it, right? Yes, Felicia, definitely share your channel links. Everybody share your channel links. All right, so what we got here is, it says defiance. And this is the 9 of Wands. What was I seeing in my mind? The 10 of Wands. It's the 9 of Pipes here, which is like readiness. And in the Rider Waite version, the figure is kind of like they're a little bit wounded, but they're ready. They're ready for battle, whatever it is. We're spiritual warriors. We want peace. It's not easy to look at life as a battlefield, but every time we go out, we're in some kind of a battle, right? Whether it's emotional, psychic, mental, or whatever, especially today. But peace is found in the heart, right? So defiance. So I think it's just saying, sometimes we have to stand up to things. I got a lot of negative comments speaking my mind and my truth, and not to go into my ego and argue with the person to the best of my ability, but I get very defiant and I fire back. I try to do it in a nice way, but it's more like holding my ground. It's not me name calling. It's not me saying you effing idiot or whatever. It's just me holding my ground and holding my space and holding my power and holding my boundaries, because I'm here to share. As spirit shares with me, I share with you. It's sort of how it works in the circle of life, in the circle of energy. So I feel like it's okay to be defiant. You don't have to be Mr. Nice Guy or Mrs. Nice Guy all the time. That's a lesson that took me a long time to learn, by the way. So I think that's a lesson for all of us. Hey, Scotty boy, turn on your heart light, let it shine. Yeah, Neil, I like that. Turn on your heart light, let it shine whenever you are. That's Neil Diamond, and of course, Ron McEachran of the Grateful Dead, who unfortunately died at age 27. You did a song called Love Light. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let your love light shine. So yeah, very good. Exactly. So it's like boundary. People are more cruel on social media because they're hiding behind a computer. 90% of them would not be so cruel in person, basically. So a lot of times it's a tool for the uncourageous to attack people, basically, unfortunately. But the other side of that is it's part of the programming too. And that's the way it should be. Yeah. Be a nice person. Speak up when I need to. That I kind of live by that also. Great to see you. Well, I don't actually see you, Scotty boy, but thank you for being here. All right, so let's move on. We've got other divination tools here. Which, oh my goodness, the camera's about to shift because I didn't realize my tripod is on one of my decks. Whoops, shifting down. Or it didn't shift that much. This is the Isis Oracle. Yeah, being on YouTube, especially as I get more and more followers, yeah, it's taught me to thicken my skin a little bit. I'll put it that way. uh, all right. So anyhow, there we go. I want to go right in here, right. This card. Okay, they switched me. Talismans, a potency. Charging sacred objects of power. So we have a new moon coming up on Monday, very Gemini energy, Mercury, Sun, Moon. What else is in Gemini? When did I think one of the outer planets went into Gemini? I might be mistaken. So I think this is just a message. This is a good week to charge our sacred objects, our crystals, stuff like that. Charge ourselves, because our bodies and our minds are our vehicles for our spirit in this 3D reality. So let's charge our own physical vehicles, meditation, exercise, breathing, all that kind of stuff. And I think this is showing that it's really time to express our power also. That a lot of us have been, some are more behind the scenes, which is fine, whatever your choices are. But a lot of us have been training in our own ways to be leaders in this new earth, in the shift from old earth to new earth. So I think it's also saying it's time to step up, but have your powers with you, charge your sacred objects or whatever it is. A power, yeah, and to feel safe, being powerful, basically. And what else? There's a lot. I'll let you guys have a close up. You might get your own messages. It looks like if you use your imagination, that there's a bit of a pentacle thing going on, right? Like there's the top of the star, there's the four legs of it, like these two things, and it's within the circle or partially within the circle. Well, the pentacle is the symbol, is a symbol of spirit. They got misunderstood as a satanic symbol, but it's the five elements with spirit at the apex, and then it's earth, air, fire, and water. And then the circle is like completing the circle of life, that everything's a circle, that there's no beginning, there's no end. It's just a continuous, it's a cycle of life that we're in right now, basically. Anyway, that's one of the things that I gleaned. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune from the tarot. Yeah, very good. Yeah, it reminds you that too. Good call. And thank you for the reminder, Play of going to sing to baby grandson. Singing is such a great thing. Yogi Bhajan, who has a dubious reputation, but did bring the technology of Kundalini Yoga to us, which is a really powerful system that I've studied, and it's made a huge difference in my life. And I don't go into the political side of that also, to be clear, for those of you that know a thing or two about it. Um, but one of his quotes is that the most healing sound in the universe is the sound of your own voice singing or chanting. So I sing every day. I chant, I sing, I use my voice, and I was afraid to use my voice. 5 years ago, even, I was afraid to use my voice. What a change. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Spirit, for pushing me to do this, because I never would have done it on my own if I didn't get the message. So anyway, let's find our voice now. And that doesn't mean to be the loudest voice in the room. It's just finding your voice, right? And finding it, which is finding your power and your ability to express your power into the world. So charge those sacred objects. Next, we have Kyle Gray's on deck with the message from the Divine Masters Oracle. Yeah, thank you, Colin. Yeah. And this looks like a good ad. This oracle is seeking to draw your awareness to your special ability to work with material objects to awaken spiritual light within them. I could not have said that better myself. Thank you for that share. I used to always consider myself to have a bad singing voice. I couldn't sing. I owned that narrative for a long time. I loved to sing, but that I couldn't sing. And then I could always carry a tune. I actually have perfect pitch from first grade, but then I started channeling the master teachers. There's a lot of voice activation that they did through me. And those of you that do the transmission, you know that a lot of crazy sounds come through. And it really literally opened my throat chakra. And I'm like, I can sing now. I can sing. The master teachers taught me how to sing. I have a good voice, and I do. I mean, not Freddie Mercury good, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, here we go. We've gotten these two before, Michael and Faith. So Michael is like the archangel, like the patron saint of the fire department, of the police, about strength, about power and confidence. And you can't really have that without faith, right? So that's a beautiful interpretation from Kyle Gray, I must say. Spiritual calling, divine protection, breakthrough moment. Know that you're divinely protected. And yeah, that doesn't mean that somebody's not going to do something, really shitty to you or whatever it is, but you'll be okay no matter what the experience. We're always divinely protected. And sometimes we have to own that. It's our feelings of vulnerability that lead to attracting situations that make us vulnerable or compromised. So if we can really own that we are Archangel Michael, the archangels are not separate from us. They're part of who we are, of the collective field, and faith that we are that we are divinely protected. Well, guess what? You're going to find in your earthly life that you're going to be less compromised, or put in situations where you're less safe, basically. So I think that's a good message. So what are you guys saying? So, hi, Jojo. I sung professionally around the world. My soul, wow, good for you. But everyone needs to sing. It's the heart song. Good for you. Maybe I've even heard you sing somewhere if you've been done this around the world. Um, so you anything that helps me improve, I'm all for that. Yeah. All right. Very good. Oh, I still have a comment up. Let me hide that. Let's move on. So we've got a few more things. So what's going on today at 5 o'clock? Yoga with Doreen of Children's School of Yoga, right here. Same bad time, different bad time, same bad channel. Well, it's the same bad time. Every other month, Doreen gifts us with a free yoga class. So thank you for your time and energy to help us out. Monday night, tomorrow night, Heather and I are going to help you with some transmissions to shift into this next lunar cycle that begins tomorrow night here on the East Coast, Tuesday morning in Europe and points east. So we're going to do some energy transmission with the master teachers and the master healers to help align your frequencies for these new energies so you can ascend more powerfully and gracefully during this next lunar cycle. So those are the two things that I can think of. Probably this week I'll get more information out on the upcoming Escape the Matrix retreat that's happening August 1st through 3rd here in the Catskill Mountains of New York. So we're going to literally show you how to escape the matrix, which basically means to clear all the programming and connect more with your divinity. Remember who you are. That's how we escape the matrix, by remembering who we are beyond the matrix. So we will be doing that for you. It's going to be a huge empowerment weekend for all of us, including myself. You're Batman. Hey, Scotty boy. Da 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 da. Batman. Da 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 da. Going live with So at 12:15, that will be done. So if you need to leave, we understand. And it must be very late by you. So with PG, I'm not sure who PG is, but have a really good time. So that's on Blindly Inspired's channel, her channel here. All right. So let's get a move on it. What is it? It's almost noon now. So here's the totem animal of the week. So we'll get to that. Grouse. I have to look that up. I know that's one of my totems. So, but I forgot what it means. But it's and the bird just flew right in front of the window. The grouses, when they take off, they sound like helicopters, and they're really cool. But the meaning escapes me, and I don't observe grouses enough in nature to know. But all the birds are about messages from spirit, so we could start from there, right? And grouse. Oh, that's right. The sacred spiral. Grouse of the sacred spiral, leading us on to reach the everlasting heights where we can live as one. So it's really, so it's about the sacred spiral, which is all kind of another conception of the circle with no circumference, which I picked that up through martial arts training. That concept that everything's a circle, but it's ever changing. Yeah, so it's a sacred spiral, just like our DNA is our sacred spiral, so it's a double helix, right? So connecting with that divine cycle or divine spiral of life, basically. That's our energy, that's our prana, and that's what connects us with Great Spirit and all of her children, including ourselves. And yeah, about that, Jojo. Good idea. Help with that algorithm. I mean, if I want to get picked up on the algorithm, it's a form of control. Also, it's a form of promoting whatever narrative. All I have to do is bring up something that's very dividing, very political, that's going to get people angry and upset, and I'll blow up on whatever platform that I'm on, basically. If I say something insightful and pointing out, well, the two sides are really part of the same whole, and even though I'm not inherently against a two-party system, I mean, after all, we live in a dualistic universe, so everything that exists in duality. we seem to forget that there's always a little bit of yang in the yin and yin in the yang, and the two opposites are part of the same divine whole. So if I point that out, that we're really in spirit, we're all one, even if we have different viewpoints, and that we can learn from rather than attack each other for. Crickets. Where did the algorithm go? Nobody's seeing this post, right? So it's all very it's very calculated. It's very manipulative, driving the mentality of the masses, basically programming the masses. So the algorithm is Big Brother. It is a tool to do that. So on that note, hit the like button and help the algorithm out. Thank you so much, Jojo. What else? I have to do the frequency of the week. Kenneth, just teasing. For the REM fans out there, what's the frequency, Kenneth? Dan, rather not. I say this story every week, but REM did a song about a Dan Rather incident where somebody, I guess, tried to beat him up and kept saying, "What's the frequency, Kenneth? What's the frequency, Kenneth?" So in their live show, they used to bring Dan Rather on stage live on some of them when they did that song, which is pretty hysterical, I think. But we've gotten this card before too. But Dan Rather Not, I think that was from Saturday Night Live, right? Who for the not the Gen Xers, for the millennials out there, Dan Rather was an anchor person in my generation. I'm just teasing. And on that note, Working Class Hero is a John Lennon song, not a Green Day song. John Lennon actually wrote it. All right. Enough goofing on the younger folks here. So anyway, tantric journey. The frequency of tantric journey helps us to unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom that we intrinsically hold about how to reach a state of wholeness and completion through our sensual experiences within ourselves and with another. What is that saying? What did we just talk about? Like it's dualistic, but we're two sides of the same whole. And through a tantric experience, you can kind of blend with that counterpart. If you're doing like say red tantra with a sexual partner, you're kind of blending with that opposite, male or female, or it could be two males or two females. It's the same tantric energy. It's the same duality between masculine and feminine principles. Whether they're masculine and feminine bodies is another story, right? So I think that kind of is sort of just adding a little bit of extra to what I was just saying, basically. Very good, Felicia. Yes. So what else are you guys saying? I don't think we've posted one of your comments yet. So the problem is, I think the two parties is a false division, because they really both are just accountable to the corporate autocracy, and they support the same thing underneath, and the same powers control both parties. And there's a reason why it's highly unusual you'll ever see one party in control of the presidency more than 8 years. I think we had that come up. No, we didn't, right? We between Bush Senior and Bush Junior, yeah. So, anyways, do we have that with the Democrats? No, we didn't, because we had Obama for 8 years, and then we had Trump, and then we had Biden. So it's always going to go back and forth. It's all orchestrated, and yeah, that's a good point. Like I said, inherently, I don't think it's wrong. It could be like a positive idea exchanges, and plenty of different ideologies, and that would be the good part. Like you said, the corporate interests, the deep state interests, and all that. And it's all a game, right? It's all a scam. So in any event, let us go on. Last but not least, let's get a quick angel message. I agree, Felicia. Female cardinals are beautiful too, even if they're not as striking as the males. I don't think we've shared any of your comments yet, Mary. So we usually get our milestone. It's predestined. Who you'll marry, how many kids you'll have, etc. It's not a curve. What you do with your milestone, exactly. So, I believe in both fate and free will. There's certain things we're meant to experience, but our choices are going to modify those experiences. That's what I believe. Anyway, last but not least, Daniel, oh gosh, sorry, whom it may concern, sorry. I'm the angel of marriage, and I am assisting you right now. So, if you have some issues, and marriage could be symbolic, like marriage to spirit, marriage to whatever. If you're having issues with that, well, the angels are helping you through that. So, whatever duality exists within your relationships now, the angel of marriage is helping you to marry maybe your ideas with your consciousness so you can assimilate that into positive action in your life. So that could be another meaning of that as well. So anyway, to wrap up, 5 o'clock yoga with Doreen of Children's School of Yoga. Hope you guys can make it. And tomorrow, Heather and I are doing transmissions to align with these new frequencies that are coming in with the solar flares and the new moon. And we'll have other events. Oh, Wednesday is Josh and Mr. Floyd's channeling. Maybe he'll do some Saint Germain channeling for us on the interview, basically. Yeah, Hawks. I love Hawks. That's one of my totem, man. That's the first card that I pulled from the medicine card when I got it. Exactly. See from higher perspective. I remember one time I almost fell asleep at the wheel many years ago. But woke me up as a huge hawk flew right in front of my window. I snapped out of it, and my car was probably about 3 feet from the ditch to the right. So if that hawk didn't fly in front of me, it would have been a very bad accident. So that's one of my hawk stories. All right, guys, I love you. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Blessed be blessed, and know that we are one with Spirit, God, or Source. The one that created us will take care of us, even through the hardest of times. So keep the faith, keep the heart open, and as a community and as a unified field of consciousness, we are going to ascend into new earth, and we're going to uncover a lot of what those that are in power using negativity to force their control, that'll be revealed in its divine time and divine space so that we can transcend and ascend. I love you. See you in the next video.